populist, grassroots, registered federal party. Our agenda is very simple. Canadians first, love and compassion for our people and country. We are not tied to any big special interests. That's very important. There's no strings on us. That's why when you hear us talk, you hear facts, you hear truth. And our job, one of our main jobs, is to inform you so you can make better decisions. And that's what this presentation is tonight. We were at 2 Islamic events recently. We've done some background research afterwards, and we've been able to uncover some pretty interesting findings, which we're going to share today to empower you so you can make better decisions and help our country go forward. If you like our work, please donate to NCA. All the funds go to doing more work, pushing our approach, pushing our ideas, pushing our facts, informing the Canadian people. So if you like us, you like what I do, like what we're doing, please donate. The more funds we have, the more we can do. I'm going to go through a few videos here, but we got some pretty profound findings. We'll start with Islamic Relief Canada event. This took place in Calgary a few days ago. I was booted out of the event. There was a Muslim guy there who's actually stringed to the Conservative Party and Jason Kenney. Can you believe it? But he created the ruckus. He got me thrown out. Yet he's tied to these so-called conservatives. Those are the facts. So let's hear this rude person. He was lying, what he was saying about me. He was creating a big scene, and then I was removed. He didn't have the integrity to tell the people running the event that it was him who was creating the ruckus. He was attacking our freedom of speech. I was minding my own business. I was doing some of my own commentary in a live feed. He has issues with that. But let's hear what he has to say now. This is going to be a short presentation. We're waiting for that to start. We want to hear what they have to say. I'm sure it's going to be all sugar-coated, but it is what it is.
What is your issue with Muslim, brother?
Nothing
Why are you
at all.
talking stuff about us bad?
I'm here to learn and open my mind. I'm not saying bad things.
My section, why you're not allowed to record me?
I'm recording this.
Sorry, guys. Who's responsible here? I need one of the volunteers.
What?
You're not supposed to record me without my permission.
I'm recording the...
No, I'm in a video, and you said F about
I'm recording the event.
I just got the video. You said F about me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
Sir, are you recording?
Yeah, I want to record.
Oh, we're not allowed to record the phone.
What about the introduction?
If you want, you can record the introduction.
Yeah, that's all I want to do.
And I got Snapchat. Yeah.
Whatever, buddy. What are you afraid of?
I don't want you to record me. I'm not free. And you're not
It's a
gonna
public
kick me.
space.
You cannot kick me out of this country. It's my country.
I'm not
It's yours.
planning to
That's
kick
what
you out of the
said in your
country.
video.
I'm just here.
That's what you said in your video.
No,
You
I
said
didn't.
this Muslim
I never
guy.
once said that. Sure, I never once said that. There's that guy there. He was creating the ruckus. He was lying. He was saying I was saying stuff. I never knew who that guy was. He turns out his name is Mahmoud Mori. And we did some fact checks. And this individual is buddy buddies with Jason Kenney. Here's a photo of him at a Ramadan event. Shaking hands. He's got his arm over his shoulder. Here he is with Shear and this red-haired guy. We're going to dwell more on this guy. He's a conservative operative. He was at our second event smoozing with the guy from the National Council of Canadian Muslims, the executive director. He was smoozing with him, and he was defending that organization. So there they are there. We did some further background check on that rude individual who was actually, he asked me, what's wrong with the Muslim Brotherhood? What's your issue with the Muslim Brotherhood? He was defending the Muslim Brotherhood. See, that's why we say Lib Con. There's no difference. They're working with all these extreme groups. That's why this country's a mess. Mahmoud Mora, there he is. He's a treasurer. He's at the Calgary Islamic School, and he's called brother. Is that in reference to Muslim Brotherhood? Brother, 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 sister. And this group here, it promotes academic achievement, leadership, Islamic views. And he's all buddy-buddy with Kenney and Shear and the Conservative Party operative, just so you know who you're dealing with. This is why the country is a mess. The Libcons, they're sellouts to these minority groups, to globalist interests. I'm going to dwell further into it. At this other event, this is Mustafa Farouk. He's the executive director of the National Council of Canadian Muslims. I'm going to play some remarks when he was speaking here, because this speaks volumes. So listen in closely, and then we're going to dwell deeper into this individual.
We are not afraid. Nothing that anyone can do makes us afraid. Nothing scares us. And if you people who come to try to scare us have nothing better to do than the day after Valentine's Day to come to show up to try to scare folks who just want to listen to a conference, feel free, grab your croissant, sit down. It's going to be a fun day.
He's very defensive there.
Today, it's February 15th. A little less than a month ago, I was in Quebec City at the 3rd anniversary of the Quebec City mosque attack. And I was sitting beside Ayman Derbawi. Now, when Alexander Bissonnette attacked, Ayman stood up. He got between the gunman and the congregation. As a result, Ayman took numerous bullets to his back, and he's now a paraplegic with limited movements in his hands. In fact, every day when he wakes up, he's in constant pain for being shot, and I consider him a hero, and I know that people in this room and Canadians in general, we recognize his act of heroism. Now, the reality is that is what Islamophobia looks like in Canada. We're talking about threats. That is something that someone lives with every single day. And the victims of the attack on January 29, 2017 continue to live with it. I want to read from a letter from Khalid bin Abdullah, who is the president of the Quebec City Mosque. Allow me to give you a non-exhaustive list of Islamophobic acts that we have suffered here in Quebec, starting with the infamous pamphlets that were distributed in neighborhoods surrounding the mosque, and being continued by the numerous incidents of the public, by trash talk radio hosts, the huge swastikas painted on the walls of the Grand Mosque, the freshly sliced pig's head with a note wishing Muslims bon appetit. the offensive referendum after Muslims took steps to create our cemetery, leaflets placarded on our walls showing pigs wallowing in their stinking manure and inviting us to the burial of deceased Muslims, the burning of the car of the president of the office of the CCIQ, and human feces thrown on the entry door of the Grand Mosque. There is danger in the house, Mr. Prime Minister, a danger that obliterates memory, exists and reinforces extremism, and unties forth tongues. The reality, then, is that Islamophobia and the impact of what it means to be openly Muslim in Canada is perhaps one of the most crucial questions we can focus on in terms of thinking about the future. Now, I'm often called upon to speak about Islamophobia, to speak about
We're going to move ahead to one final part here.
we focus so heavily today on talking about two issues. This challenge of Islamophobia, both on the side of government policy and in terms of how it's being built through white supremacist organizations. But we can never forget, as we go forward, about the fact that every threat to our communities is a moment for us to open our hands and to invite host. It's a moment for us to reach out to those around us, those who hate us, those who fear us, and to say, we are here to talk. We're here to engage in dialogue. We're here to show love. We're here to show respect. Because that is the way that we've been taught in our tradition. This is a tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, who, when he was being abused by people of Ta'if, in what we really can consider to be an Islamophobia incident, prayed for their guidance on the
There's that guy there. I have another amazing video that completely contradicts what he's saying there. But let's be clear. Islamophobia was created by the Muslim Brotherhood in the 1990s to silence criticism of Islam, period. Political Islam, Sharia, should be feared, should be criticized in our opinion. NCA wants a ban on the practice of political Islam, Sharia in Canada. That's something we support. This isn't Islamophobic. This is common sense. Political Islam, Sharia has nothing to do with our civil liberties, civil rights. If anything, it's an attack on them. But if you listen to Mr. Farouk there, it's all about Muslims. It's not about Canadians. His rhetoric there, he's playing victim. He's trumping up the tragic event in Quebec City. So you see what they do. They exploit these opportunities to play victim. And then he talked about reaching out, talking, having dialogue, having love, respect for those who are adversaries. Takia. I say takia because when I approached him, he showed disrespect. There was no dialogue. He was condescending. He was insulting. But we're going to dig deeper into this. Here's the final video we're going to play here. This is when I encountered Mr. Farouk afterwards, so that there was no opportunity for questions. I had to wait till the end. And I could barely get any in, and then they removed me. What are they afraid of? Sir, I'd like to ask you some questions about your organization. Is it connected to the Muslim Brotherhood? That's all I'm asking.
That's a ridiculous question.
There's evidence online. That's a ridiculous question. That's the red-haired conservative operative who's apparently an MLA for Jason Kenney, who was saying it was ridiculous, even though experts like Quiggin have pointed out the connection. You see the Lipcons, how they work? He's smoozing with this guy. And this guy's smirking. You see him smirking?
There's no evidence on
Yes,
that.
there
I mean,
is.
having said that, we're having a conversation.
Is it connected?
Yeah, see, they don't want dialogue, and the little conservative shill there.
Just wondering. It's U.S. designated as a terrorist organization. We know that.
Here?
No, the American government.
Yeah,
So I'm just asking.
nobody
We don't support radical extremism, right? So this isn't against the Muslim community. I understand that.
There's the red-haired guy, and there's Farouk smoozing there. Remember cheering him?
Hey, sir.
The slick conservatives deceiving Canadians. So-called conservatives.
The Muslim Council of Muslim Canadians used to be chair, and it's connected to the Muslim Brotherhood. That's in fact, this guy works for them. He doesn't want to answer any questions.
Let's stay in touch.
All right, let's get it close.
How come you don't want to answer my question?
Because you're an ignorant person.
Why? I'm here to understand.
You're an ignorant person.
Why?
I wish you all the peace in your
Why?
Because you are.
Why are you afraid to answer a basic question?
So you heard his response there. Completely disrespectful, condescending, self-righteous, arrogant, no dialogue. No dialogue. Where's the love he was preaching about? You see what's in our country? These people are ruthless. And they're in bed with establishment parties, the multi-controlled opposition. They're all in bed together. This is at the end.
Thank you for your presentation today.
Are you filming me or?
Yeah, why not? Because we want to create, to help inform, and that's something you support, right?
Okay. Well,
So-
yeah, I'm just asking a question. Are you
Yeah.
affiliated?
What's the
with
big deal about filming?
I'm affiliated
groups or-
with a political party.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I asked a question about the media,
Oh, I see.
so you might want to incorporate that into your findings,
Okay.
because the mainstream media.
I have asked you end of the conversation. Okay?
I'm just
I have
asking.
asked you end of the conversation. Would you please?
Can we go outside?
Well,
End of the
I'm
conversation.
here with the organizers asked me to be
So
here,
you
so I'll
can go
respect their
outside.
decision.
I'm asking you to leave.
Just include the media.
I'm
There's a
asking
lot
you
of
to leave.
Yeah, I've got to grab my coat.
Could you please now?
What's the issue,
I'm asking you to leave.
sir? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there an issue?
I'm asking you to leave, please.
Did I do something wrong?
Asking you to leave, please.
Why?
I'm asking you to leave. Is it clear or not? Or shall I have you removed?
Okay, sir.
So that's what we're dealing with. That's a really good example of the intolerance of these groups that are coming in. Look at the way they treat people who are not part of their tribe. Look how they treat them. Remember this. I was there peacefully. I recorded the event. I didn't disturb it. Even though someone made a scene with me, I was asking basic, you could argue hard questions, fair questions. They don't want dialogue. They want a one-way street. And then we have the conservative operative defending them and smoozing with them. You draw your own conclusions. There was no dialogue. I was removed. But let's dig deeper. This is that same guy, Mustafa Farouk, National Council of Canadian Muslims. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? National Council of Canadian Muslims. Do you see anything wrong with that? Canadian Muslims. It doesn't say Muslim Canadians. Muslim comes first. You see where they're coming from. The supremacy of Islam comes first. Right there. Canadian Muslims. They don't care about this country. So this guy's arguing here that Omar Khadr is a national hero who did nothing wrong. That's what that same guy is arguing. Unbelievable. And then he went on about that Ezra Levant who we uncovered about a week ago, who's tied to Coke and the Atlas Network and globalist trade, open borders, all that, the Atlas Network. Well, the stupid Levant was harassing Omar on the flight. And we didn't agree with that. That's stupid. It's just trying to create sensation. The bottom line is, I'm not going to go into full of this, but the Harper regime violated the constitutional rights of Omar in Guantanamo Bay. The Trudeau regime settled with this child terrorist, and he should have never done that. We would have let it go through the court right to the bitter end. Instead, he settled for 10 million plus. And then he's led ISIS into our communities. We would have never done that. We would have tried them for high treason, and we would and if they were found guilty, strip them of their citizenship. But blaming Omar now is off target. You got to blame the Libcons. They're the one that created the mess. But this guy says Omar is a national hero. How could that be? He was working for Al Qaeda. He was 15 years old. He blinded someone. How is this guy a hero? You see the frame of mind of these people? He's not a hero. He's extremely lucky to be in Canada with over 10 million in his bank account. That's what he is. He basically won the lottery. Here's this guy again, who wouldn't talk to me. He said I'm ignoramus. He's defending pro-Mujahideen imam. These are Islamic fighters. He's saying he's amazing Canadian, a national treasure. You see this guy's agenda. He's been spearheading a campaign, quote, to pressure the Conservative Party to disqualify candidates. You see how they're infiltrating these weak mainstream parties. They welcome the resignation of Cameron Ogilvie of Conservative Party of Canada, Winnipeg North, after revelations of Islamophobic, anti-immigrant social media posts, etc. And then they're going after someone else, a Coptic Christian from Mississauga, Gada Malik, saying they have to clearly denounce anti-Muslim bigotry, Islamophobia, You see how they're infiltrating these weak, corrupt establishment parties. Supporting Imran Hindi, O Allah, rise the standing of Islam and the Muslim. Raise with your grace the word of truth, the religion. O Allah, give victory to the Mujahideen in your path everywhere. And these are jihadi fighters. What do jihadi fighters, how are they amazing Canadians? A national treasure. Tell me. Well, look at the comments. Enlighten me. What does this have to do with the Canadian people? This is research by Tom Quiggin. He identified the Islamic Relief Canada as a branch of Islamic Relief Worldwide, which is a terrorist funding arm of Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood. It's been classified as a terrorist funding arm by the Israeli government, UAE. Germany put out a big report on it. Egypt has classified the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. So has the U.S. government. Quiggin went on about NCCM. It used to be called Chair Can. And they were identified as both Muslim Brotherhood front groups. And this was in testimony to the Canadian Senate in 2015. Islamic Relief Worldwide is a terrorist funding organization. And we've uncovered that in 2016, over 15 million flowed from Islamic Relief Canada to Islamic Relief Worldwide. This is what's going on. So I'm at those events. They don't like us because we're exposing the truth. They want to just push us away. They're aggressive, condescending, self-righteous. Has nothing to do with Canada. They're in bed with the Libcons, and we proved it there. This is U.S. government. In 2019, they designated Muslim Brotherhood Terrorist Designation Act. Muslim Brotherhood dates back to 1928 in the Middle East. It's been linked to extreme mixed messages, with some people committing acts of violence in the group's names. Top Muslim Brother leaders and affiliates have been designated as terrorists, with the umbrella organization being the logical next step. The bill recognizes the simple fact that the Muslim Brotherhood is a radical Islamic terrorist group. And that was Ted Cruz. For Americans, for years, both parties have been correctly designated the Brotherhood's various affiliates, Hamas, Ansar al-Sharia, as terrorist groups. They have designated individual Muslim Brotherhood leaders as terrorists. Now we can reject the fantasy that their parent institution is a political entity that is somehow separate from these violent acts. And then opponents say, oh, only a minority of the Brotherhood engaged in it. This would cause problems for the U.S. in the Muslim world if they designated a terrorist organization. The National Council of Canadian Muslims, again, not Muslim Canadians, but Canadian Muslims, were defending the attacks against them. They were just, it's almost like taqiyya. They're just in denial. There's no proof. They just say it's false statements. They're saying they never once denounce Hamas. They say they're denying any ties to them. They're saying it's a conspiracy, again, trying to deflect from it. And then they're trying to divert people's attention to Al-Qaeda, away from the topic. Then they try and tie Jews and Muslims in there to distract even further. And this is further on the connection. This is by Danny Eason and Tom Quiggin, going on. It was about the International Relief Fund. Lost its charity status. It was linked to terrorism. NCA, formerly known as Chair Can, or the Council of American Islamic Relations Canada, its parent, U.S. parent, CARE US, was originally established by the Muslim Brotherhood, later designated by the U.S. Justice Department as an unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land Foundation case. Hamas is defined in its charter as the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. So despite current denials by NCCM of any connection to Brotherhood affiliated Chair US, the two organizations have extensive historical ties, with both groups having made reported claims in the past that they are connected to each other. So that's what we were dealing with at these two events. Share your comments today. This is serious stuff. This is spreading across Canada. With the mass immigration, mass migration, the diversity agenda in this country, you can see what's happening to the country. These people are extremely aggressive. They are looking after their own interests. And it's not about Canada. It's about Islam. It's the truth. Share your comments today. We're going to keep working hard. If you like what you're hearing, support NCA, sign up, and donate to us. The more money we receive from you, the more we can do. The more we can expose the globalist sellouts in Ottawa and expose what's happening in the country and ultimately deal with it. We are losing our country. Our message at NCA is very simple.